Hello and welcome, and we're back here in Tech Corp for episode 2 with my company. And I've decided I'm going to start having trouble naming my company now. Ajax Tech. I think I got that right first time, which is rather impressive, I think. Now, before we actually get into the gameplay itself, before we carry on, I thought I'd just have a quick look at some of the settings, because I didn't look at any of them when we first came to the game. So you might like to see what we can do. So on the main menu, we have a single settings option, which is basically to do with the video settings and also a little bit of volume control. So I could mute the music and the game sounds entirely, or I could change them as I have done here. Let's turn the music back on, because I'm one of those people who likes to have the music playing in the game, because it usually works for the game, because I have spent time designing it, obviously. I know a lot of people don't like in-game music, and they prefer to either have their own playlist playing or nothing at all, whatever. I'm not one of those. Anyway, so yeah, you've got a whole variety of settings here. I've not messed around with them. I've just picked what appears to be best and what works for my monitor and my graphics setup. So that's all fine. So we'll leave that as it is. Loading game. Now, I mentioned in the last episode that if you go into the folder, the save game folder, which is actually under your in Windows at least, it's under your own user local user app folder. It's listed on the Discord. If you need it, just ask and I'll put it into the comments or something. But you can rename the save game folder as I've done here. So I can, I think, play on in my Let's Play series off camera, as it were, just to try things out, so I don't embarrass myself too much actually on screen when I'm recording the videos. But I'm not going to make use of that today, so we'll just carry on where we left off with Ajax Tech. So here we are back in the office, and as the advisor tells me, because we are still in the tutorial, now that you have the basics of software down, it's time to work on some hardware. Oh yes, which we kind of have done already. In fact, we've started that. Hire a researcher, which we've done, and that's the researcher there. Yep, he's researching. He's already researched 6 parts, which is all good. Unfortunately, I don't think there's any way at this point of checking what he has researched. Now, we are still in the tutorial, so that may actually be a limitation of this stage of the game. Once we're actually into open sandbox, then that may be different. Maybe I'll actually look back and see what he has researched. We will certainly see it when we get to prototyping and building products. But you know me, as I've said before, I like information. I like to be able to look back and see where we are so I can plan forward, as it were. Oh, one other little thing to say here before we get into it. I'm recording this just a couple of hours before the dev team release an update to the Steam version in early access. They've obviously been lots of bugs that they've been dealing with and ongoing development of the game in the days leading up to release on Steam, but there are a few, because they've now got a much broader audience, obviously, from the Steam community. They need to be more proactive and really sort of get those sort of frustrating bugs sorted out and dealt with. So they're dealing with those. That should happen, a couple of those, that should happen tonight. I don't know if there's any other gameplay issues that they're going to fix. They did say they hope to make the sandbox unlocked immediately, so you don't have to go through the tutorial when you start the game. So if you're one of these hardcore kind of gamers who's very familiar with this genre, then you could go straight into it and hopefully work out how it all works yourself without too much guidance. Me, this isn't my usual sort of game, so I need the hand-holding, I'm afraid. So if you're happy with me to carry on through this, then stay with me for a couple more episodes before we get into the actual open play, as it were. Right, so we have our researcher researching stuff. Oh, I keep getting ahead of myself. I was going to look at the other customization thing you can do here. In the buy mode, in the shop, you can customize things. I only just discovered you can move these dialog boxes around as well. That's handy. You can change the colour of your furniture. So I could change it. Now, when I tried this before, I'm sure my couch changed colour. Now, I'm sure if I buy a new couch, it's still red. Okay. So maybe, I'm sure it changed. Maybe it's the next office it does. But you can change the sort of colour of your office if you wish. Oh, that is a bit over the top, isn't it? I mean, I love purple and mauve, but maybe that's, yeah. So I'll kind of go with my channel colour, which is kind of orangey. And the other thing you can change, it'd be nice if it stayed there, is you can change the light intensity. So if you really want to sort of dark, mysterious, we're working in the depths of some basement producing some really sort of high-tech, undercover kind of product, then you could do that. But I like things reasonably bright. Maybe not that bright. That's quite a nice light, isn't it? Okay, so we'll leave it as that. Right, so we need to get our... We'll just accept that next contract. How much... Okay, our manager, who's currently on a break. Now, I think this means he can't change the task that our team are working on. They need to work on networking. Now, can they do that? Yeah, they're not going to change that till he gets back to work. Okay, matey. Yeah, get back to work. Okay, right. Now, we've completed our 6 levels of research, which was our objective in this part of the tutorial. So we've got all these new techs discovered. Hard disk drive, and Bluetooth. Now, the interesting thing about this compared to another sort of technology game that I played, you may remember earlier in the year, I was playing Computer Tycoon. Again, another game still in early access, which is quite a different feel to this one. It's much more of a strategic game rather than this sort of tactical production kind of game that we've got here. And that did pay a great deal more attention to the history and development of technology, which this game at the moment doesn't. I liked the history we got in Computer Tycoon, but we'll see how this one pans out. It's a much more abstract in that sense, I suppose, than CT was, if I can call it that. So they're now all working on networking. That's fine. Now, the prototyping. Now, this is an interesting concept here. Now, I'm not quite sure what... he's still researching stuff. How all this actually works. What you do is you sort of create a blueprint of various bits of technology which your researcher has uncovered and turn it into a blueprint. Quite why you would mix these together, I don't know what the point of that would be. Now, as our advisor says here, the parts on the left hand, on the left or right side, represent hardware parts that your researcher has discovered. Now, at this stage in the tutorial, I've not seen anything in the short-term column. So that's obviously a different aspect of research, which hopefully we'll discover before too long. So drag them into the middle to create your first blueprint. Oh, there is more advice he has for this. If I click start on that. Okay, now what he's telling me here is now the blueprint requires an engineer to prototype, which is why that's called prototyping, the actual products that the technologies that our researcher has discovered. Now we need an engineer to do that. But the interesting thing here is now we have a blueprint. Let's hire an engineer, we'll do that in a moment, to keep working on them. Note the blueprints have different success rates. Yeah, success rate, which again is another typo, they're working on that. Different success rates that depend on your engineer skill level as well as parts compatibility. Now that's an interesting thing because there's no clue here yet as to why you would put certain points to get certain research technologies together and how they would relate to each other in terms of the difficulty of the prototyping task. Now the interesting thing about them so far is they're all generation 1, so maybe that's what it's talking about here, because once my researcher has gone through all the generation 1 technologies that are available to discover, they will start generating, if I ask them to, they'll start researching generation 2, so that's hopefully more advanced, more customer friendly technology that customers would be happy to have. Everyone likes the latest generation technology, don't they? Of course they do. So so that will probably, that takes longer and is more expensive to research and prototype. So again, not entirely clear yet. There's my issue with the game so far is the lack of detailed information on quite what each of the little bits mean and how they work together. So why would, apart from the fact they're all generation 1 technologies, would you mix these things into one blueprint? What's the point of that? I don't know, but we'll move on anyway. We'll get that done. So we need an engineer. So we'll close that. We need an engineer. Though I happen to know, before we employ an engineer, well, we can do it afterwards, of course, but why waste that time? We need an engineer's desk. They apparently have a different requirement to our sort of soft skill oriented people. So we'll have him stuck behind the researcher so they can spin around on their spinny roundy chairs and talk to each other if they need to. So we've got you, and we need to hire an engineer. Engineer, there you are. He takes prototypes and implement it, bad grammar, and implement it into a brute. There's me. There is me chastising the typos and the grammar of these game developers. I can't even speak English, and it is my language. Well, it's not my language. It's the language what I speak. So the engineer takes prototypes and implement it. It's very bad grammar. Implement them into a blueprint. We'll have to let them know that that's not good. Right. So we'll set that off. Okay, we're getting 3 candidates. The team aren't working very well on the software components. More technology. Right, now at this point, we'll just get into the candidates. Yeah, it looks like we're stuck there. Okay, we'll stop here. Notice my researcher is now idle. Don't do that. Do this. And that is because they've now exhausted all the Generation 1 utility hardware that is available to be researched. So if I set them off again, they'll be researching Generation 2. I'm not going to do that because that just takes us above and beyond for the moment. We're not ready for that yet. Okay, let's get while I'm doing this, let's get them on a different task. We need camera components, which is that one. Okay. Good. Right, so our 14 candidates for engineer are oh, you're quite good. 32 grand at a level 3. Have we got anybody else at level 3? Oh, you're even cheaper. And can I get you both? No, I can't get you both into the same screenshot. I can't make this box bigger, can I? No, I don't think I can. Yeah, so if we compare this guy here, William Rodriguez, 50, intelligence, creativity, 46, endurance, 57, as opposed to this chap here, also on level 3, cost me just nearly £1,000. This chap here, that's £5,000 more. Intelligence 50, creativity 44, a little bit less, endurance a bit more. So it's wonder, what are you paying for? I'm going to go cheap guy. That's the kind of chap I am. Right, and we'll put you there. And now we've got an engineer, we can assign him a blueprint. Yay! It would be nice if you could name the blueprints perhaps as well. So okay, let's get the guys carrying on working. What's on my manager? They're resting at 35, my staff, aren't they? That's okay. Camera components, that's developing quite nicely. Actually, let's clear that list. Don't need that up anymore. The progress on my first blueprint is moving along quite nicely. Oh, let's get our researcher doing Generation 2. But they can take a break before they get on with that. Sat on the couch, twiddling their thumbs. Aha, right, now here we have our engineer has now completed that blueprint. So they have new parts available. So these are things we can put into our products, which is the next step of the tutorial. So what we need, that blueprint, we need to create another blueprint prototype. So CPU, RAM, GPU, we'll put those into a prototype. We'll start engineering that. Okay. Right. Oh yeah, we've got our camera components. That's fine. We've got enough of those for now. We want optimization, which is that one. Away the guys go. Speed up a little bit more. Ooh, loads of people taking breaks. Yeah, keep going, keep going. And away they run. The manager's on break now. You see here what's happening with the entertainment furniture, as the game calls it, is they're playing table football. I refuse to call it whatever other people call it. One chap sat on the couch, and that's our manager, I think, enjoying some water. Actually, it's been very hot here, so that's not at all surprising. Yes, the UK's in the middle of quite a major heat wave. Well, most of Europe is, to be honest. But yeah, we're not used to it in the UK. Well, we're getting more used to it. You know, that's climate change for you. Okay, we've prototyped 3 parts. That's completed that part of our objectives down here. You can see the star. It says completed, which is a good sign. Well, everyone's all my programming team are on break, so nothing's getting done. Especially if I don't if I leave the game on pause, nothing happens, will it? I've got 80 days left to produce this. Three components I need to produce. I'm not worried about that. Speed up a bit more. New tech. Oh, we got somebody working. That's fine. The optimization is completed. We'll let them do one more, and then we'll change that to whatever the next. We need encryption, which was that one there. There we go. New parts available. Now, my issue at this stage is some of this stuff seems to happen very, very quickly. I'll deliver that. I'll pause that here for a second. Yeah, some of these things happen. They seem to happen very, very quickly. So there might be an issue with the sort of the time management in the game, the sort of speed at which it works, the way it represents time passage. That's always an issue for gamers in every game, I think. That whether they have it running too fast or too slow, whatever. Again, that's one of those things that's going to be addressed as the game goes through early access. Right, so I paused it here. Now the next stage of this, we haven't quite earned enough from contracts. Once we get that done, the advisor will pop up and tell me I need to create my first product. Now, I know for a fact that I need a lot of money to be able to do that. We'll decline. Well, that one looks achievable, so we'll accept that one. What are they working on at the moment? Encryption. We don't need encryption, so we'll just change that. What do we need? You see, we've got enough algorithms already and enough UI components to meet this requirements of this particular contract. So we just need those other 2 components to be done. Photo component being one. Yeah, I know for a fact that the next stage of the game I require quite a lot of money, and this is not going to be enough, this 129,000. So what I plan to do is I will run this forward for a little bit until I do have what I think is enough money to get to the next stage of the game, and then I will rejoin you then. So if you'll just give me a split sec, well actually it'll be more than a split second, it'll be a second or 2 while I go through a quick video effect, and I'll be back with you a little bit in the future doing the next stage of the game. I'll be right back with you very, very soon. Right, yes, we're back a little prematurely, to be honest. I'd quite forgotten that when we completed those last objectives, the contracts and the prototyping and stuff, we'll be taken to a new dialog box to invite us to upgrade our office to level 2, which also includes, as we will see, an adjacent factory. It's kind of well, I can't move this dialog box, which is behind the door, as it were. Why? It's because it's stuck on this upgrade dialog. Everything else is hidden away. It's sort of it's grayed out. That's fine. So what I'll do, I will populate. So when you come back properly, you'll find a new look office populated with the same, well, desks and the same team of people, and we'll carry on to the next stage of the tutorial. Once again, bear with me while this quick video effect cuts in, and I'll be back with you before you can, well, say Tech Corp. Oh darn, you've said it. Back soon. And here we are. What I've done is I've worked my way, grinded my way through 3 or 4 new software contracts, getting that done. You've seen that me do that before, so that's fine. It's just a matter of accepting a new contract here, which my sales executive has found. Now the interesting thing is, if I deliver that one, in fact, let's get the next one up. Let's get the next one. There you go. I can accept or decline them. So if I don't think I'll be able to complete all these requirements, these component creations within that deadline, or if I don't think the payment is enough, I can decline a software contract. That doesn't appear to have any negative effects. So I just say, yeah, oh, actually this looks better. It gives me longer to complete it. The payment's a bit better, I think. Yeah, I should be okay to accept that. And in fact, as you can see, I've already got most of the components because my manager's been working the team really hard to get all these extra components ready. So they've got a stock, an inventory of off-the-shelf software components which they can just plug into whatever contract requires them. So actually, they're actually already working on encryption, which is the only one we're missing, which is jolly good, isn't it? We've actually done lots more research and prototyping. I think we're already, look at that, we're already on generation 3 technology. Now the interesting thing is it doesn't tell me there's an engineer available to do it, which is curious because I'm sure it did when I first started doing this. But anyway, there we go, so you can do that. Right, so I think now why I was grinding through that is because I need a fair amount of money in the bank balance, this number at the top here, before I can complete the next stage. Now, one of the fixes that they've said they will have ready for us in the update tonight, which I don't have yet, well, we'll come to that in a moment, but it will cause enormous frustration if you went into the next stage of the tutorial without enough money in the bank balance. And this is all to do with this objective here of start creating an accessory. Again, there's kind of an inconsistency here with the terminology, the words they use. What is an accessory? It's difficult to tell, but we need to go to the factory to find out. Yay! We're going to the factory! Now, this is going to be probably the big thing about the game going forward. This is where you hold your stock of materials, which you can buy from here, and manufacture through some sort of factory type thing, I think, into units which you can stick on shelves and combine and make products and sell for huge profits. We're nowhere near that yet. So we have a factory, but we can't make anything yet ourselves, as you'll see. So the next objective we need in the tutorial is to create what is called an accessory, which is one of these 3 things here at the bottom, the audio, video or TV. We're not allowed at this point in the tutorial to create one of these 3 main category hardware products. I like cameras and stuff, so we're going to stay with video, accept that. And we've got this choice of different product types. It's already opened up photo camera for us. We could unlock a different type of product if we wanted to for a fee, but why spend money when we don't need to? Let's go with camera. Now this is all part of the fun. This is where it starts getting really exciting now in the game, is we can design our own products. Now this is a camera. Can we spin it round? We can spin it round. Just drag the mouse left and right, and whoa, and get dizzy. Okay, so we decide what parts we need will make up the. Oh, it turns of its own. Very genteel, very elegant. A Generation 2 CPU, RAM, Even cameras need this stuff these days. As we said in the previous episode, they're not simple bits of hardware and, you know, film strips and stuff. Storage, actually we'll keep it an entirely Gen 2 product, I think. 64 gig of storage. That's your SD card or your whatever. Yeah, Gen 2 battery, the camera lens 2. Audio, cameras these days have audio feedback. Microphones, they can play back recordings, can't they? So that absolutely makes sense. And the body case, a photographer, that's the word I'm looking for. A photographer likes something that feels good in the hand. And most often that is a good, solid, weighty metal piece of kit. So we're going for that. That's all those things selected. Next just allows us to go through those and change them, which we don't need to do. We've got some basic stats here. I imagine that's to do with where's our camera unit. If we go that, yeah, these will affect certain bits of, yeah, of these stats here, for example. So if I went to RAM and said Gen 1 8 meg, these change slightly. If you pay attention to them, you see them changing ever so slightly. But we're not going to worry about that. We've got our product there. We need a brand. We don't have one yet, so let's create it. So this is cameras. We'll call it AjaxVision. I just love putting my name in stuff. I can't help it. That's the brand, and the product itself is going to be Ace 1. Why not? And it's going to cost $55. Produce a single unit. Next. This is fun. I like this. What we could, don't move that. This one. So dragging the mouse left and right. Let's position this. That's more central. You can create different orientations for your picture, your image. We can zoom in and out. Actually, let's get it back up. Oh, I've spun it right round. Spin it right round. Spin me right round, baby. Spin me right round. No, you're right, I can't sing. Let's tilt. Is that too big? Okay, so you'll see why we're doing that in a second. You can probably guess. What case colour do we want? I always choose this one first. It's stupid on me. Do we want the primary colour to be sexy black, or sleek grey, or purple? That's a bit too in your face, isn't it? I quite like this sleek grey, and the sort of accent colour, the secondary colour. Let's go channel orange. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, and then we take a photo which appears on our product box. Oh, sweet. Tilt it down a bit. No, move it round like that. Which you can spend hours making sexy pictures of your product. Actually, we want it a bit further down. Can we move it down? We can a bit. That's a bit better. Yeah, it doesn't clash with the product name. Right, we've got our packaging. Now, this is one hell of a confusing screen, I'll tell you. The advisor tells me, here we have your product software. As we've discussed before, that makes sense. Drag the boost on the left, that's these components here, to the slots on the right hand side. That's these plus symbols here. To level up each software component, you can produce boosts by producing a software component 10 times to create one boost. I'm not sure how that works. As we'll see, it's not quite clear how that actually fits into what your programmers, your software team does. But I roughly know how this page works. So the UI, how simple. Yeah, you'll notice as I'm moving this across, the camera spins. Don't like that. Right, so the UI, we click that to get rid of it, changes the user experience. That's what UX stands for. It's computer geek speak, which you might be familiar with. OS, yeah, cameras do have an OS these days. So if we put a UI into each of these, that improves the user experience of each of these features of my camera. We want to optimize it. Yeah, performance, battery life, all going into the green now, or moving greenwards. One slightly confusing little thing is when you select a boost here, it moves to the top of the list. So it's easy, if you weren't paying attention, it's easy to lose track of where they are. You keep thinking, oh, it was down here. No, it's not. It's back up there now. So we'll put those in there. And obviously you want quality assurance to make sure it does actually work before you ship it out of the factory. There we go. You could add more of these. I could add more QA, which means really green bugs. If I get rid of that. Yeah, these sliders work in slightly different ways, I think. Bugs is a negative, so you want that to be small, but like battery life, you want to be big green. Performance, you want to be big green as well. It's slight. You need to be aware of what's going on. We don't. That will do that. I don't know how much this adds to the cost or the production time of the units. It's again a slight lack of information about what the impact of your choices here is going to be. Add-ons, we don't have any of that yet. We haven't got to that stage of the game. Platform, no idea. We don't have a platform for our camera. It could be like the Canon series or the Nikon series. They have different types of camera: the professional, the consumer, the budget, and they all have slightly different. They obviously have different capabilities, but they also accept different add-ons. So a professional camera would accept full-frame lenses, the bigger, more professional lenses, whereas the consumer model accepts the consumer level, slightly cheaper, less capable lenses. Yeah, that sort of idea, I think, is what's going on here. But anyway, right, now this is where it all goes horribly wrong. Now, we set up our marketing campaign, select your production rates to begin producing your first product. For now, we will outsource. Again, we don't have the capability to manufacture ourselves. Our factory is just there for storage at the moment. But in the future, you will be able to create it all in-house at your factory. Something to look forward to. How long till launch? Well, 75 days. Marketing budget, I want that to be fairly substantial for reasons. And outsourcing. Now, when I tried this in one of the early alpha builds, I found if I could actually launch my product without selecting an outsourcer, which meant I didn't select how many to produce. So I went through the whole marketing campaign, all of that, spent all that money, and then had nothing to sell. I don't know if they fixed that. I'm not going to try it. Right, our outsource options are these three. So you make a choice here between quality and costs and how quickly they can produce it. So Samsung, I wonder where they get these names from, really top quality. Cost, is that expensive or cost effective? Not quite sure. And the speed is not terribly good. But if I choose Samsung and I want to produce 1,000 units, it says no, you can make these changes outside of the tutorial, but the tutorial has certain limits, like you must have at least 40k marketing budget and you must produce at least 5,000 units. So that's what we will do. The other unfortunate thing here is it doesn't tell you how much you've got in the bank anywhere here, so you don't know. But I do know. I have got 367 in the bank, but choosing this production company means it costs too much, more than I can afford. If I choose HTV, the cost is less, the quality isn't as good, but the speed is really good. That costs less. It's actually still a bit more than I've got. But if I shave my marketing budget a bit, I could afford it. The final outsource choice, quality isn't too bad. The cost is cheaper, and the speed again isn't great. But I like that price. For a first product, do you go quality or do you go let's get them out cheap and see what happens? For our first product, let's go cheap. Can I make that 90 grand? Actually, no, let's keep it to 80. I don't want to run out of money. Okay, And campaign types, again, not quite sure what the impact of this is. Not quite enough information provided to sort of make a real decision here. Mid-range or viral? Of course, everyone these days goes viral. But I'm going to go nationwide, see what that does. Launch. I can afford it. Yay! A little pop-up telling me some useful information. So we have a release bar. Oh, yeah, get over there. Which is this is my product I'm creating, or someone's building for me. Production progress, and that release bar I think is this green bar on the bottom. Yeah, we'll work that out as we go. The first requirement is the software, so we'll put our programmers to use. We'll see that very shortly, and we will have marketing to set up. So we do it. Now, in fact, this again is something that annoys me a bit. Something that I think needs tweaking in the game. There are 3 stages to marketing, and we'll go through all of those. There is a negotiation and bid system. Again, it kind of works, but needs a little bit of extra sort of love and attention from developers, I think. And finally, we need someone to actually market this, so that box is probably in the wrong place. And then finally, it's quite cute actually. You do see the marketing, some of the marketing results coming up. Before, of course, you ship your product. Okay. Do you know what? I'm going to leave this here, I think. Yeah, I'm going to leave this here. In the next episode, which will be along quite soon, I think, we will start setting up our marketing and setting up our programming teams to actually get our product out into the field, into the hands of our lovely, lovely consumers. So that's it. We've gone through all the software contracts. We've learned how to make money. We've designed our first product after lots of research and prototyping. We've given it to Fireflax, whatever the company name was called, to produce for us, and we're about to set up our marketing campaign. And that's where we will start off in the next episode here on Ajaxpost Plays, the next episode of Tech Corp, which will be along very soon. But for now, okay, so it seems I can't actually leave at this point. The game won't let me get out. So we'll set up our first marketing campaign. I'll take you through that. So this episode is going to be slightly longer than I anticipated, not by much, but what the heck. So let's set this up. We need, unfortunately, to set 3 types of. Again, this is something that annoys me a bit about this game at this stage in its development. We need to set up 3 types of marketing effort. You get the trailer to start with, and then a commercial, or you can choose a commercial. I've chosen commercial there. Endorsement or event. So let's have an event as well. We won't endorse it just yet, and then you decide. Presumably this is a third, because there are 3 marketing steps. This is a third of your overall marketing budget that you set up front in the previous stage. So how much can we spend? If we say the trailer, we want to be quite impressive, so we could set 30 each, couldn't we? Actually, if we say 25% on the trailer, thereabouts, and just under 40% these. Okay, that's fine. Again, I'm not sure what happens to the money we don't spend. So on the next page, the trailer. Is it going to be focused on features, the hardware, the software, or the platform? Platform's irrelevant at this point. We don't have that. So we'll focus on features, I think, in our first trailer. It's going to be exciting. We want to create a buzz about our product. But for a first product, we'll give it a fairly lengthy trailer, I think, a 60-second trailer. The commercial, this is, again, it's not, is it an endorsement or not? This, again, I suppose, is who you're going to have in your commercial. So we get a selection of people. We've got 10k to spend. Oh, so we could get one actor at presumably impressions level, likability. The impact of that actor is level 2. We can't afford Nicholas Rage. We could afford a mix of people at level 1, I think. Yeah, this kind of a mix of real names. They've kind of just tweaked them a little bit. So, I mean, musician, social media. Oh, if I'd gone to 11, I could have got social media chappy. What was that first 2 that we saw up? An actor. Actors like Bradley Pitt. So I wonder who that is. No, he's an actor. Mitch Anderson, 10.5k. Will take you. Thank you very much. Actors use cameras, don't they? More than musicians do. The focus. I think we'll go funny for the advert. And how much we're going to spend of our budget that we've got left on these various aspects of the advert. So special effects, we don't want too much on that, say 15-16%. I think direction and production are the important ones here. Again, I don't know how you know what the impact will be of these choices. Well, actually, we could employ another actor, another cheaper actor, couldn't we? We've got money to spend. An athlete, yeah, why not? Let's do that. Next, and the event. Okay, now we've got 9.8k I've said to spend on this. Now we couldn't negotiate. Presumably these symbols here indicate the impact they will have on your potential customer base. You can either sort of bid blind, buy your endorsement, your event advertising, or you could negotiate it. Super Bowl, yeah. But you only get one choice out of these. You can't mix and match. So shall I try and negotiate for the World Cup? Let's do that. Okay, we want, let's say, 10 days of ads, and I want to spend, I don't know how much, that's my budget, isn't it? So let's spend, say, 5k. You see, they just weren't impressed enough, and they're just saying, no, we're not even going to talk to you about that. That's annoying, isn't it? So, what if I stop negotiation? Oh, I can negotiate with somebody else. Oh, I've not done that before. What if I negotiate with these people? Let's say 8 days for 6 grand. Ah, that's better. Okay, I can't even give you 1 day of promotion for that amount. What do you think of 8.4 for 6 days? That doesn't entirely make sense, but you know, actually, if I say 7 days for a little bit more. Oh, I can't up. Okay. Yeah, they're happy with 7 days. Splendid. I'll accept that. Okay. So we now need a marketeer to do that for us, and that is where we're going to come into the next episode. Right. So, yes, thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this trawl through the first stages of this, what will be a huge, expansive game. We're just in the beginnings of the tutorial. We're just learning the very, very basics of the game so far. But if you've enjoyed this, do give us a click on the thumbs up. That'd be very much appreciated. But even better, if you've got any thoughts, suggestions, recommendations, even criticisms of the way don't criticise the game too much. Criticise me for playing it. If you have thoughts about the game, have a check of their Discord or the Steam forums, and get involved in the discussions there. That's much more useful to everybody. But yeah, if you've got anything to say, drop a note into the comments box below. That would be awesome to hear from you. And of course, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do so. And that way you'll know when I upload another one of these or any of my other Let's Play series. But from me, Ajaxpost, here in Tech Corp, thank you very much for your company today. Hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you again soon. But until then, bye-bye for now.